Live for the Build Forward Tough Studio, Boomer Esiason, Greg Giannotti. It's Boomer and Gio on the Fan, simulcast across the country on CBS Sports Network, and wherever you are in the free Odyssey app. Good Tuesday morning. The Dallas Cowboys are a mess. Jerry Jones is out there saying I could make a trade, and then he said, I don't know if I'm going to make a trade, and Troy Aikman says, don't make the trade, you stink. This is a team that's got big problems after they lose to the Cardinals on Monday Night Football, with Jacoby Brissett out there playing quarterback and playing it very well. The New York Knicks steamrolled the Wizards on a back-to-back at home. And yes, Karl Anthony Towns had a really, really good day, but we need to see more of those good days against the better teams. The Giants fallout continues. We got a lot happening today on the show. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, G. I'm doing well. Yeah, unfortunately for the Cowboys, man, it looks like they're heading in the wrong direction. I feel bad for Brian Schottenheimer. I think he's a really good coach, but just like the Giants, just like the Jets, you know, and the thing about the Cowboys, they have a great quarterback and they have great wide receivers and they should have a good offensive line, but they got tore up last night as Jonathan Gannon's defense really, with 5 sacks and turnovers and, you know, the whole thing. I don't know if you got to see it last night because you have YouTube and you don't have Disney
my
on
goodness. So think about this. So I have the Sunday ticket.
Yes.
I've got YouTube TV.
Yes.
I've got ESPN Plus, and I've got Disney Plus.
Okay.
And somehow had zero access to this football game last night.
This is unbelievable. I mean,
what
that's
is
crazy.
that?
That is absolutely
Now, I
crazy.
do have NFL Plus, and I could stream NFL Plus on an iPad or my phone to watch the game. But that's just a tough watch at that point when it's a couple of teams that you only care mildly about. If we were a Jet or Giant game in this situation, I'd have to do it. A Viking game, I'd have to do it. But I was like, I put it on my phone for a little bit, and I was like, I don't want to be doing this.
You know, it's kind of funny. Barstool
Paying too much money to do this.
I think Barstool put out a post yesterday on X. I don't know if it was yesterday or this morning. I opened it and said, this game must be flexed to ESPN. And I'm like, what game are they talking about? So I open up their post, and it's the Browns at the Jets.
Oh,
Because obviously alluding to the fact that a lot of people like you weren't able to get it. Now, I'm fortunate I have Fubo.
Yes.
And Fubo does carry MSG, and they also carry ESPN. So I was able to watch both side by side last night, the Knicks and the football game. And the thing about it is, like, just for the football games in a second, it's really, I mean, like, the Cowboys are a mess defensively. They stink. And, you know, Marvin Harrison Jr. has been kind of an enigma since he got to the Cardinals and, like, hasn't really gotten on the same page with Kyler Murray. And they were talking about it last night, how Jacoby Brissett and Troy aptly pointed out that he's a much better thrower of the ball and he stands in the pocket and the offensive line knows where he is as opposed to running around like it's electronic, football where the guy's, running all over the place and nobody knows where Kyler Murray is going to be. They have a very interesting decision down there in Arizona because I don't know how long Jacoby Brissett will last. I mean, he normally gets hurt, but he has been playing his ass off, and he's unlocked Marvin Harrison Jr. They even talked about last night how Marvin Harrison Sr. said he gets frustrated watching Arizona games because his son's not involved enough.
Well, of course.
Yeah, but the thing about it is when a guy like Marvin Harrison Sr. says that, I mean, that's a direct shot at either the quarterback and or the offensive coordinator. But since Jacoby Brissett has played for Kyler Murray, now all of a sudden Marvin Harrison has shown up in these games and he looks great and Jacoby looks great. Like I would not make the change. I don't care. I don't care how much money we're paying you. I don't care what, you lost your job due to injury. I don't play by that. I play by who's playing the best, who deserves to be on the field. And Jacoby Brissett played his ass off last night, and he deserves to be the starting quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, and you got the NFL trade deadline later today, 4 p.m. Eastern. I wouldn't expect, Kyler Murray to be traded at the trade deadline. There's going to be some names that are out there, but, maybe this is a situation where he is one of those guys that's available in the off-season, right? In the off-season to restart his career somewhere else, like we've seen so many of these other high draft picks go somewhere else and have success, especially after leaving New York. But I'm not sure what to expect out of this trade deadline. You just haven't heard a lot outside of this Dallas Cowboys chatter about adding someone to the defense. And then Troy Aikman.
The Eagles have done it.
Well, the Eagles have, but Howie Roseman makes trades like every single day of the year.
I love it.
It's like an advent calendar with him.
He's adding to his team. Look,
it's great.
I got to believe that Jacoby Myers is going to be traded today. I got to believe that that's going to happen. And I think I would think it's either New England or Buffalo.
Okay.
That's what I would think. I don't know how. What is Vegas doing? They much like most of the teams at the bottom of the league need to acquire draft picks. Draft capital is so important, especially when your team is going south. Now, the last thing you want to do is you want to do what the Rangers did to me when they sent me the letter saying, we're going to trade all of our guys, including J.T. Miller and Ryan McDonough and everybody else, and you're going to be watching AHL hockey, for the last 6 weeks of the season.
Sure.
I mean, I know it's tough for fans to swallow that, but at the end of the day, for all of these teams that are at the bottom of the league, it's about their future. It's about the bigger picture. It's not the short-term stuff that might happen if you trade a star player away, when in actuality you need cap space, you need assets, and you need to move forward with a new group of players.
Yeah, and the Jets are in that situation as well. We're talking about a new GM in his first year, where a majority of the roster he did not pick. His picks this year have actually done a decent job on a really bad football team. So, I mean, I don't know why they don't have some sort of fire sale as well. And I understand that Breece Hall has this great game, and everybody's happy, and they go into a bye week with a win, and Breece Hall is the offensive juggernaut in the game, but there's just, you either sign him to a contract or you trade him today.
That's you and me, and that's what we say here, and we're not in there. We're not listening to all the offers that are coming in. And so I went back and I looked at the Denver Broncos GM, George Patton, not the general.
Yes. He was with Minnesota there for a while.
Right. Yeah. And I just looked back with him and Sean Payton together, how they got out from underneath the whole Russell Wilson thing, and what did they do? They made some trades, but nothing that I saw that came around the trade deadline. So I'm just thinking Darren Muji is coming from that group. And I just wonder, is he going to be cautious or is he going to be aggressive? And you never know with a guy that really has no track record. You have to go by where he has come from. And he's come from Denver. And Denver, by the way, the only reason, there's two reasons, that they have gotten out of the malaise that they were in with Hackett and Russell Wilson is because they hired Sean Payton. They played 1 year with Russell Wilson. They got rid of him, and then they brought in Bo Nix.
Yeah, a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract who was by far more competent than the expensive veteran.
They had good drafts. I mean, they have good offensive line. They have solid wide receivers. They have one of the best defensive backs in football. I mean, they are a complete football team without question. And it didn't take them all that long to turn it around to make, because they were good last year, but now all of a sudden they're right at the top of the league right now.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the type of coach that we want for the Jets that I don't think is possible for the Jets. But obviously,
hopefully that's what Aaron Glenn's going to turn into.
Yeah, but I'm talking about getting Sean Payton when they got Sean Payton. Like, that's the exact thing we were talking about.
That's what the Giants need.
Yeah, they need it too, both of them. I mean, absolutely. But when you say, like, Darren Muji, is he going to be aggressive or he's going to be cautious? Like, what constitutes aggressive where the Jets are right now?
Trading Breece Hall right now.
See, I don't even think that's aggressive. I think that's just should be expected.
Yeah, but this is not baseball. This is not hockey.
No, I know, but you're not going anywhere. And he's not signed to a contract, so get as many draft picks as you can.
Well, you'd have to look at, Quincy Williams doesn't have a contract next year.
Okay.
I mean, you'd have to look at all of those guys that are going into their walk year. And then let's just say, I'm not saying that they should or they shouldn't, but if they decide to trade Quincy Williams, how does that make Quinnen Williams feel? I'm like, you got to. I mean,
do any of these guys have, do you have to worry about any of these guys' feelings? They've been on a losing football teams their entire lives.
That's the point, and this is where the GM has to be ruthless.
Yeah,
this is where the GM has got to really take a look at what the hell they're thinking about for the future, and how can they acquire as many new assets that are going to work out for them in the future. And you're dealing with human capital, and when you deal with human capital, you just never know. Like you really never ever know. I think the interesting thing. I think just to compare two young players that are here right now at the right time, doing what they're doing and being successful. One is Jackson Dart. So there was something that Brian Daboll saw in Jackson Dart that he wanted him. I don't know what it was. It's obviously a combination of talking to Lane Kiffin, the head coach down there at Ole Miss, and also just meeting the young man and listening to him, in those meetings and those combines. And you saw that he was a really good athlete. And he probably thought to himself, this is kind of a poor man's Josh Allen that I think I could make into a Josh Allen type of player, which we've seen evidence of that. So for whatever reason, they were able to decide that he was the guy. Now the Islanders have this kid, Matthew Schaefer. To me, it still blows me away that this kid is 18 years old. And somehow, some way, people in hockey knew, like when he was 15, that he was going to be a great hockey player and that he was going to be the overall number one pick. It's beyond me to even comprehend how you could figure that out with a kid so young. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's really where Darren Muji is right now. They have to find their next star. The Jets do not have they have Garrett Wilson, of course. They have Sauce Gardner. They have Breece Hall. Great. Quinnen Williams. They got 2 tackles now that I think are really good, and they're going to be really good foundational pieces. But they got to find that guy, that next Jackson Dart, that next Matthew Schaefer. They have got to find that can't-miss player. And in order to find that player, I think the more assets you add, the more arsenal in your repertoire, maybe more trades can be made, and you can find that guy.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the teams that are the worst in football, so you've got the Saints who are most likely going to draft a quarterback this year, the Jets who are going to have to draft a quarterback this year. The Cleveland Browns have got so many quarterbacks, I wouldn't put it past them to draft another quarterback because there's such a...
You know what? It's shots on goal, man.
Yeah.
Shots on goal. You just keep going until you find the right guy. That's all there is to it.
So, I mean, what I'm getting to is the fact that it's not a shocker that the bad teams need quarterbacks. The Titans, they just drafted Cam Ward. They're probably not going to draft another quarterback.
They're going to go after an offensive guy to bring the best. They're going to try to do what Chicago did.
And the Dolphins might move on from Tua and draft somebody. That's an interesting one. So yeah, I mean, and I understand the argument of not all these picks work out, but if you have a choice, you choose to have the number one overall pick because at that point there's no excuses because you had the guy you wanted. Doesn't matter who it is. There's no one there to stop you from picking somebody else. This is your guy. You have the opportunity to select the number one guy on your board, and you're the only team that can do that.
Right, if you are number one. And I'll never forget when Frank Reich got the job down in Carolina and they had traded for the number one pick. And, after the fact, it's easy to say, but at the time, he was I think he wanted them to have the number 2 pick. In other words, let somebody else make the pick for you because both players were so close in everybody's mind that they would be able to win with either quarterback at the time. And obviously Carolina went with Bryce Young and then Houston went with C.J. Stroud. And C.J. Stroud had that great rookie year. And Bryce Young has struggled his entire career. He's had a couple of games here or there, but he is still struggling. He's too small. Kyler Murray, too small. I mean, and Tua is on the cusp of being too small. I mean, height-wise. So I just, you just never know that if you're the Jets and you have, like, let's say you have the 1 or the 2, and there's a quarterback in here that you like that we're maybe not even talking about right now.
That's the way it always works, right?
Right. And maybe you don't have to get that guy that high. Maybe you trade out of there and you get extra picks, and that's how you build your team. You got to add as many young players as you can, get as many first to third round picks as you can. That's the bulk of the league anyway. That's where all the top end talent is. And every now and again, you get somebody that's in the 4th or the 5th round that turns out to be a Pro Bowl player. But the more picks you can get if you are the Jets, the better off you'll be. But it's going to be painful to get to that point. That's the thing that they don't want to signal that they're losing, and they don't want to send a bad message within the locker room. There's a lot of psychological aspects to all of this as well.
Yeah, I mean, but when you're not trying, I mean, Aaron Glenn said many times they're like the record and making the playoffs and all that stuff is really matters. It's about building a foundation and this and that. So, I mean, what it does to the locker room, it's like, I mean, do you even care? Because if the guys start, sulking and packing it up because their buddy got traded at the trade deadline in a 1-7 season, you don't want that guy on your roster anyway.
I mean, what I don't understand is why. I'm not saying just you. I think people in general that are Jet fans and, or people that cover the league don't understand what Aaron Glenn is trying to do. Aaron Glenn is aggressive in his press conferences. Aaron Glenn is setting the narrative. Aaron Glenn is making it about him right now as opposed to the players. I'm not telling you who my quarterback is after Justin Fields just had one of his best games. We'll see when we get there. I'm not going to tell you yet. I mean, a lot of this comes from the Parcells background and the playbook of how to handle the media, especially here in New York, and he is being combative. There's no question about it. But I think the reason he's being combative is because he wants to set the story. And that's what he's being told. You set the story. You don't let the media set the story. And as hard as the media will try, meaning us as well as anybody who covers the team on a daily basis, Rich Cimini, Mark Cannizzaro, Connor Hughes, any of those guys, they're all looking for things that they can write about and talk about and actually have inside information, whereas Aaron Glenn is fighting that every step of the way.
I disagree. I think that's a bad way to go about it because what you're doing is you're losing and you're being a jerk, which are two things you can't do at the same time. And that media, when you're talking about I'm controlling the story, if you're pissing them off, I mean, we've seen it before. I mean, these guys will have a vendetta. They'll go after you. So, I mean, having this combative relationship when you're the worst team in football with a media that has seen some of the most miserable years that franchises have had is just not a good idea. It's just stupid.
You have to remember, Bill Parcells has told Aaron Glenn, you stand up there, you take the slings and arrows, you set the narrative, you be aggressive, and then you're the one that they'll go after, which is fine. I mean, Aaron's going to have to be a big boy about it, and I think he is, but they still have to find their star. They have to find somebody that's going to get them excited. They had Aaron Rodgers when he first came here. You saw how the fan base reacted. And that's why that position is so important. That's why the Giant fan is reacting to Jackson Dart the way they're reacting to him.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Michael Jordan or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or one of those guys could tell Karl Anthony Towns, this is how you're supposed to play in the playoffs. It doesn't mean that you're going to do it. Just because the great one is telling you how to do it doesn't mean that you're automatically going to do it. So I don't know. I think
it's a little bit easier to do it as a coach as opposed to a player on the court.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Some guys just don't have it as head coaches, and
he's just got into it.
I understand, but his first impressions have been horrible. I'm sorry, they just have been.
The amazing thing is we all sit here, everybody at this radio station, because I do listen. From the Moose to McMonagle to Keith McPherson, all the M's that we got around here.
Get to the point, yeah.
We got to.
Right. You do this like, the McPhersons and the McMonagles of the world. Just, all right.
Well, they're our guys, they're our colleagues, man.
Right, got it, yeah.
Tierney,
right.
Sal.
Yeah, right, gotcha.
Okay.
Yep.
Listen, nobody had expectations for either one of these teams, either one of them. So here we are in the middle of it, knowing that we were going to be sitting
here. It's a
here,
different argument.
Now it turns out we're reacting to what we're...
No. It's a different argument. Plus, you and Jerry had the Giants having, winning more games than I did.
Hey, so I'm always try to be honest here about the way I think when we were over there at the Giants, I really felt a different air of energy because of Jackson Dart. Now, I'm glad they didn't start him right away, and Russell Wilson had that great game in Dallas. They should have beaten Dallas, much like the Cardinals beat Dallas
And
last
the conversation isn't that I expected the Jets to be good. The conversation is I needed to see that this guy has some idea of what he's doing. And so far, within games, with some of these decisions within games, he's got no clue.
Aggressive. Well, he's been really aggressive, and he got away with it.
He's been aggressive.
He got away with it.
He sat there and let the clock run out twice at the end of a half. That's the opposite of aggressive.
Well, when he was in Cincinnati, he was aggressive.
Who?
He won for two. Aaron won for two. He won for it on 4th and 1 that ended up giving the Bengals their first touchdown.
I appreciate the fact you want to defend. I appreciate the fact you want to defend him. He's a former teammate and you want to take the other side of this.
Here we go. Now
but he's been awful. He's been awful so far, and you know it. You just don't want to crap all over the Jets today for whatever reason.
He's a rookie head coach. All I'm saying is that the Jets, because we were talking about trading, if the Jets, I believe they should try to make some trades if they can. And they need to get assets back because if they want to build this thing, they need as many young assets as they possibly can. They got to get fast, they got to get young, they got to get big, and they need a quarterback.
Yeah.
You and all of us know the same.
Right. And Aaron Glenn might end up being a great head coach. So far, what we've seen up until now looks like a guy who doesn't know what he's doing. So hopefully that changes and he learns on the job. But as of right now, he doesn't look like he knows what he's doing.
Is Cam Ward a good quarterback or a bad quarterback?
We don't know yet.
Why not?
Because so far the early returns have not been great, but
we've also seen what he's doing.
Right. I mean, at this point, yeah, that doesn't mean that also a rookie quarterback who's 20-something years old is different than a guy who's been in the NFL forever, has played and everything else, and still doesn't know how to handle an end of half situation.
4-19-1. 4-19-1.
Yeah, I know you keep bringing up the stupid Lions, but how many other teams started out with that record and were bad for the rest of time? You picked the one outlier. You picked the one outlier.
What? Why are you getting
Because
so
you do this.
upset?
I don't understand. Everybody at the radio station doesn't see it how I see it. I don't know. Maybe because you're wrong.
No, we all saw it. We all saw it the same. We all saw it. That's
but
what
you're
I'm
not
saying.
listening to what I'm saying. Everybody said that the Jets were going to suck. It's show me that this guy has an idea of what he's doing.
I don't
know. And he
know.
hasn't yet. He hasn't. He hasn't shown you a thing that he knows what he's doing right now. Okay. He hasn't. Doesn't mean that we're projecting and extrapolating the rest of his career. He's never going to know. But I'm talking right now. Show me something. And the only thing that I would say is there's been a lot of coaches that have come in here and their first year they've been great and then they've been terrible after that. So maybe Aaron Glenn's the opposite of that. Maybe he's terrible in his first year and he's great after that. I don't know.
And just to be accurate, we did not want a rookie head coach. We did not want a rookie GM, and we did not want a rookie offense coordinator. Just to be accurate.
Yeah, of course.
But once the decision was made, then the reactions, came just like I was talking about. Nobody thought they were going to be any good.
Oh, my God. It really is.
You didn't think they were
running head first into a brick wall. I don't know how many times I'm just keep debunking what you're saying. I know that I didn't expect them to be good. Not once did I ever say they were going to be. My point is that it's how it looks, and I need to see a first impression of a guy who looks like he knows what he's doing.
Can we agree on one thing?
That you can't count on much these days?
But you can't count on Paramount Plus for your NFL every Sunday. Yes.
That's right.
I know, but we can agree on one thing. They desperately need a linchpin quarterback that is going to move the needle for the fan base.
Needle movers. All right. Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS Sports Network.